This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 4th, 2023, and was posted at Borough Hall website at www.hpborough.com and on the bulletin board of Borough Hall at 221 South Fifth Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. In addition, notice of this meeting via Zoom was emailed to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on May 12, 2023, and was posted on the Borough website at www.hpborough.com and on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue, Highland Park, New Jersey, on May 12, 2023, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exeter to my right and left of the council chambers. Valerie, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Foster.
Yes.
Councilwoman Canavera. Councilman George.
Here.
Councilman Hale.
Here.
Council President Hirsch.
Here.
Councilwoman Kim Cho Han. Councilperson Pistonik.
Here.
Borough Attorney Schmier.
Here.
Borough Administrator Rivera.
And Council, any questions by council members on the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Now we're going to go to honors and award, and tonight we have two. We have one for prostate cancer. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm going to read that one first, and then we step down to do, and then I'm going to do the other one. Whereas this year, approximately 228,000 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in the United States, 1 in every 2 minutes. Roughly 37,000 will die this year from this disease, and about 3,500 more than in 2020, which is 1 every 15 minutes. And whereas in New Jersey, an estimated 9,460 new cases of prostate cancer will be diagnosed, and an estimated 730 deaths will occur in 2023. And whereas men with relatives, fathers, brothers, and sons with a history of prostate cancer are twice as likely to develop the disease. And whereas prostate cancer is one of the most commonly diagnosed cancer in American men, and is the third leading cause of death behind lung cancer and colon cancer. Whereas 1 in 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 6 African American men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. Overall, African American men, a 1:7 ratio, is more likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and 2 in 1 is more likely to die from prostate cancer compared to their white counterparts. Whereas veterans who were exposed to herbicides like Agent Orange are at an increased risk for developing prostate cancer and are more likely than others to, are more likely to have an aggregated form of this disease. And whereas education regarding prostate cancer and early detection strategies are crucial in saving life, preserving and protecting our families, as well as our economic and social burdens of prostate cancer is a huge effect on families. And whereas if caught early, prostate cancer survivors can have a 5 times rate of surviving, nearly 100 times rate of survival, fewer than those who were detected 5 years later. That later rate has only 37% of survival, whereas many men diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2023 is larger because of non-screening due to COVID, and whereas men at risk for prostate cancer we are encouraged those citizens in Highland Park to increase the awareness of prostate cancer and prostate screening. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Elsie Foster, hereby proclaim the month of September 2023 to be Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in Highland Park. In witness, therefore, set by my hand on set by my hand on the 20th day of June 2023. So I did this much earlier. Okay. So that's one very important news for us all to follow. And now we have another proclamation for one of our Highland Park treasures. And this one is for Valerie Drack Weidman, retired. She's retired from our library services, and it reads, whereas Valerie Drack Weidman was hired by Highland Park Public Library in April of 1993 and has served there faithfully for over 30 years. And whereas Valerie shared her love for poetry, writing, and with the Highland Park community through many workshop plays, reading, annual poetry festivals. She as the coordinator of the library. And whereas Valerie planned and promoted countless book exhibits, authors talk, guest speakers, discussion group, and other public events in the library regularly, drawing hundreds of people each year to the library. And whereas Valerie began her career in Highland Park Public Library as a part-time desk assistant and rose to the position of coordinator of circulation and public relations. And whereas Valerie was known throughout our Highland Park community for her humanity, her helpfulness, her gentle humor, her approachability, and her responsiveness to residents' requests. And whereas Valerie retired from Highland Park Public Library on July 30th, 2023. Now therefore, I, Elsie Foster, Mayor of the Borough of Highland Park, do hereby applaud Valerie Drack Weidman for her exemplary services in Highland Park Public Library and wish her great health and great adventures on her retirement. I'm going to ask Councilman George to help me present this award because he has been with the library board for a long, long time and have a good relationship.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Elsie. And I actually had a great time working with Elsie during a one book project. I think that was 2008.
Yes.
And Elsie was a great help. And she had just great ideas. It was a whole year-long thing. And your son was in our talent contest.
Yes.
He was adorable. And now
he's all grown up.
He was right before his growth spurt.
Yes. And with glasses and braces, and then he just like spurted out.
Right. It was a great year, and you really spurred it on and helped make it a wonderful.
It wouldn't have been possible without your help. What she's referring to is a book called The Ditch Digger's Daughters. Right. And if you haven't read the book, it's a must read. And they have local Highland Park roots, and it was just an awesome event. And we filled the high school auditorium, and it was great. 250 people, see? So it was an awesome. Thank you for your service. Go enjoy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, approval of minutes. For motion to approve minutes as distributed August 5th, 2023, and August 15th, 2023. That was executive session of redevelopment. Roll call.
Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman York,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Council President Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik.
Yes.
Okay. Tonight, I received a phone call and I had asked some folks to come out because I think this is really important. So I want to start off the evening to talk, to give my own testimony of how I feel about some of our people in blue that's visiting tonight. Or I would like to call them angels, because they were definitely there during our COVID epidemic and throughout our lives as we seek services. And I have a statement that I have prepared, and it says the governing body of the Borough of Highland Park is a big believer in the importance of frontline workers, especially those in healthcare, who fill their roles with skills and compassion, improve the outcome of life on a daily basis to the people they serve. The mayor and council also, as well, is well aware of the growing nursing shortage in the nation and in our state. As a result of the developing vacuum, the nurses remain on their job in face of increased staff to patient ratio and increased stress in their work. The 1,700 nurses at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital have been negotiating with the hospital administration for months. For better staff to patient ratio, improved healthcare benefits for the overstretched nurses who are handling a heavy overload and caseload. On August 4th, the nurses went on strike at Robert Wood Johnson Hospital. Robert Wood Johnson Hospital replaced them with 1,000 replacement nurses at a cost of $45 million. The hospital suspended the nurses that were on strike and more recently stopped health benefits. Nurses on the picket line have reported that they had to care for 9 patients at a time, while the national average for nurses is 6 patients per nurse. This is not a safe situation for the nurses and for the care that they're providing. These overworked nurses in turn are more likely to face health concerns of their own. In recent week, Congressman Ballone has visited the striking nurses to show his support. State Senator Dykeman and Vitale has also visited the nurses to show their support. Last week on Ask the Governor, Governor Phil Murphy was on News 12, and he says, and I quote, "This should get resolved. These heroes, let these heroes get back to work, unburden them with the concerns of going on strike and the challenge that they currently are going through that needs to be resolved." I speak tonight to add my voice to the growing chorus to support the nurses that are on strike. I urge the Robert Wood Johnson administration to find a way to resolve the dispute and to do so quickly. Health and safety of our most valuable frontline healthcare workers, our nurses, and our collective health is on the line. And this, they must act with urgency and they must act now. With that said, I'm going to go to council reports. Councilmember Hale,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to start off by asking Councilman Hirsch if he could stand up so that he can see the Arts in the Park T-shirt, which is Sunday, September 10th from 11:30 a.m. to 4:30. So I have a prop. Thank you. Highland Park, this is our annual street fair. It has a juried art show, arts and crafts sales, music festival, and so much more. There'll be food, there'll be vendors, there'll be music. All up and down. Again, that's Sunday, September 10th from 11:30 to 4:30 coming up. Lots of other things going on in downtown, lots of other things from Main Street as well. We have farmers market, of course, is every Friday from 11 to 5:30 through December 22nd. A couple events upcoming October 13th. There is an apple pie contest. October 27th is pumpkin painting and spooky Halloween music. So that should be exciting to make a special trip to the farmers market for those. Also having a series of night owl markets. They are going to be Saturday, October 28th from 4 to 8, Sunday, November 12th from 12 to 4, Saturday, the 25th of November from 4 to 8, Sunday, November 26th from 12 to 4, Saturday, the 9th of December from 4 to 8, and Sunday the 10th from 12 to 4. These night owl markets are local craft shows where we again bring in artisan craft makers to help. It's a great place to do your holiday shopping. So come on down again for those various events. We have Halloween coming up. As I said, there'll be a painting contest, also carving contest. For Halloween, so look forward to that. And then lastly, downtown tree lighting is going to be November 25th at the Night Owl Market at 7 o'clock. And then the downtown menorah lighting will be Thursday, December 7th. So come down for either of those or maybe both of those events. That is the major news. I just also wanted to give a shout out. Rabbi Yaakov Lupan just retired from Congregation Oratora after 40 years of service to one of our local synagogues. A great leader in our community. So I wanted to say congratulations to him on his retirement, and then also congratulations to Rabbi Cyril Malitsky on his installation as the new rabbi for Oratora. Again, very nice to see those changes. And then lastly, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Valerie, who is retiring. My son, when he was about 10, was terrified because he had a book late. Absolutely thought that he was going to jail. He was just thought that was the worst thing in the world. And he came in, and Valerie was the person that he met. She happened to be at the front desk, and she did an amazing job of reassuring him that it was okay. Don't worry. As long as you bring the book back, you're going to be okay. So, so I don't know where you got scared of librarians. My mother's one, so maybe that had something to do with it. But Valerie, you were fantastic, and we appreciate those great things over your course of your career. So thank you so much.
Alrighty, Council Member George.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, a reminder to everybody, school's open. The chief, the department, crossing guards, of whom we have many on appointment tonight. Remind everybody that the school's open. We go back to our safe walking and cycling streets, but we've been a little relaxed over the last couple of weeks. It's been slow and quiet. In the end of summer, it's going to get busy rapidly with Rutgers back in and with our schools back in. So everybody, please be careful and cautious and yield to pedestrians in the mornings and afternoons. With regard to the library, Mayor, congratulations again to Valerie. My personal congratulations, our family's congratulations. Jackson sends his regards and says thank you very much. The working group for the construction management team has been meeting every other week, keeping track of the construction work. Demolition is relatively complete. The interior structural work is working on, but with the interior stripped of the ceiling, the contractor and architect were able to get a better idea of the persistent leaking problems, both inside and out. Tonight on the agenda, we have a capital ordinance to fund $215,000 to make the improvements to the library roof in order to address the persistent leaks, update the HVA system, which installation has been one of the sore spots over the years. And we will replace the entire 3,000 square foot flat roof section and take further steps to isolate and repair the HVA system installations. The borough has the money available. It's going to be put to good use. Another good news for the library, the Kushner Estate grant of $375,000 has been approved subject to the closing documents being completed. It will be used to provide a media room in the current conference room and to update items which were not covered under the original state improvement grant or had to be re-edited because of inflation and changes to the grant program. With regard to the police department, it may have been out on social media, you may have seen it on Facebook or seen the reports that there were a number of residential break-ins recently, which are being investigated by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office along with our detectives. Because they're under investigation, we have no updates on that, but as we receive information, we'll be putting it out. However, the police department and the county prosecutor's office advise everyone, don't post on social media when you are away. It is the slickest way that people monitor it. They no longer have to case the neighborhoods like the old movies. All they have to do is log in on social media, put in a town, see where they want to go, and see who's advertising. Here we are at the beach in Curacao. We're not home. Come break into our house. We put it somewhat humorously, but it is a very serious source of break-in. So please, post when you're home. And more importantly, tell your children not to post, because you may realize that it's important, but your kids are busy texting and Facebooking everybody and Xing everybody in their class about where they are this week. So please make sure you take care of that. Again, with the agreement with Rutgers to transition our dispatch to the Rutgers Dispatch Center has been finalized. The chief and the department are already in the planning stages. Looks like it's going to be a very quick transition, and it's going to benefit our town as well as our employees. The fire department, another volunteer firefighter, passed their Firefighters 1 certification, which means another volunteer is now available for responding to fires. And the department is working with the administrator to look at a third full-time firefighter to beef up our forces. Just finally, congratulations to Matt Hale and Main Street and the Farmers Market. We've been watching that wasp for a while. And since he doesn't have a council report tonight, we decided to get rid of him. I was a judge at the Cornbread Festival on Friday. I didn't have enough room for dinner, but I had a wonderful time with Chef Avi and Jerry from Creamwich Winery. It was very well attended. We had some fun. We made some jokes. Corn being a very good subject for joking as we were going on. Playing the Food Channel thing, we had a really good time. But it also showed how popular the events are. We had people watching, people participating, and Xander, whose father operates the book truck, took second prize. He's only 11 years old.
Wow.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me earlier. There was a situation I had to take care of. At first glance, it was just maybe leave it alone, but it was hanging around for quite a bit, and I didn't want anyone to get stung. So moving along. So first up, I just wanted to reiterate, like I do at the beginning of all of my council reports, that there is the borough has grocery store, transportation, and online food shopping assistance available through the Department of Community Services. So this is to provide some additional assistance to folks in need of acquiring groceries while we're temporarily without one in our own town. For more information, please reach out to the staff at the Community Center at 732-819-0052 or just stop by the grocery store. Next up, we have a bunch of events upcoming, but before I get into those that are coming up soon, I just wanted to give a shout out to Kim and the team of the Department of Community Services for a wonderful Fireworks in the Park celebration last Thursday. I hope to be able to do something like that again every year. We all love the 4th of July fireworks in the park. Will certainly be there, but we had a great turnout on Thursday night, a terrific time. So hopefully we'll be able to add that to a rotation of events in future years. So coming up, I'm excited to announce a new festival is coming to Highland Park, Mid-Autumn Festival, celebration of unity, prosperity, and good fortune. It'll be Saturday, September 30th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Farmers Market parking lot. It'll be featuring dance and musical performances, food, vendors, art, and more. So hopefully this will become another new thing that we will do on an annual basis. Well, it just feels like it was just a few months ago that we're starting to just talk about putting some of the logistics together for this, and now it's finally coming up. So really looking forward to that. And then just to piggyback on colleague Councilman Hale's report about the upcoming Arts in the Park Festival this Sunday. I just wanted to note that the Arts Commission and Historical Commission will be there. The town's Art Commission and Historical Commission will be there. The Arts Commission will have rock and t-shirt painting activities for the kids, and the Historical Commission will have a bunch of cool artifacts and information available. So definitely stop by and check them out while you're there. Also have the Middlesex County Senior Health and Fitness Walk that will be Wednesday, September 20th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Roosevelt Park, Edison. If you're interested in attending, please reach out to the community center, and we will have transportation that can be provided to get you there. And then the very next day, Thursday, September 21st at 7 p.m. at Pino's, the Historical Commission, the Highland Park Historical Commission, will put on a special presentation on the findings from the recently concluded historical survey of our downtown. So the presentation will briefly cover the broader history of Highland Park and then focus on how the development of Route 27, the Lincoln Highway, shaped our town. So that'll be really cool. Hope to see you all there. Again, Thursday, September 21st, 7 p.m. at Pino's. And then next, we'll move on to some community center programming highlights. We'll have a fall luncheon on Tuesday, September 19th at noon. Please join us for lunch and special entertainment by Spook Handy. Then we have the AARP driver safety course. It's a two-part course that will be held on Monday, September 11th and Monday, September 18th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. The cost is $20 for AARP members and $25 for non-members. And then on Tuesday, October 10th, we'll have our first flu shot clinic of the season. That'll be from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and it's free and open to all residents 6 months and older. And if you can't make this date, don't worry, we'll be hosting other clinics throughout the fall and winter months. That is just the first one, again, October 10th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then a couple of just recreation announcements. We're very excited. We have a robust fall programming available. There's for the youth, we have soccer, flag football, wrestling, basketball, dance, and theater. That'll be keeping them busy. And then we're also welcoming the return of adult fitness and pickup sports. And then lastly, keep an eye out for the new edition of pickleball that will be coming soon. So if you go to Donaldson Park, you can see the courts are just about done. They're looking great. So we're excited about that. And we'll have more details on the official opening date and then the additional Highland Park recreational programming that we'll have. And here, that is my report for the evening.
Thank you. Council President?
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everybody. My name is Matthew Hirsch. I chair the Public Works Committee. Just a few updates here. Well, first, I wanted to thank Mayor Foster for comments on the striking nurses. Thank you so much for being here. We support you. This affects Highland Park deeply, and it does seem it's unconscionable that you are here without insurance as well. So that's thank you. You may have noticed that this is a short week, and the garbage and recycling collection schedule has changed. So I just wanted to update everybody on the following few days, just to please take note. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 6th, will be in the business district, North Side and Triangle. There's garbage collection. On Thursday, September 7th, on the South Side, there's recycling collection. And on Friday, September 8th, in the business district and South Side will be garbage collection as usual. An update on the Sabbath observant water meters. Nationally, we talked about this throughout the spring. National Metering Services has begun contacting residents who requested the Sabbath observant water meters and scheduling installations. We've received about 200 Sabbath observant meters to start. However, more are likely needed to meet all the requests from residents. The additional meters will be in hand before the conclusion of the meter replacement program. If you're interested in obtaining a Sabbath observant meter, please contact National Metering Services directly at 1-888-488-0009 to express your interest and to schedule an appointment. If there are no meters available, they will add you to the waiting list and contact you directly once the additional meters are in hand. If you already have requested a Sabbath observant meter, National Metering Services will be calling you to schedule an appointment. At the time of installation, we strongly recommend that you reconfirm with the technicians that the meter about to be installed in your home is a Sabbath observant meter. We are unable to reinstall older meters once they have been removed, so it's better to be sure prior to the replacement work that there may not be sufficient inventory, of Sabbath observant meters to replace in the case of an error. To confirm that a Sabbath observant meter is installed, lift the lid which covers the digital readout and watch to see if the numbers disappear after 20 seconds. If they do, then this is compliant. Sustainable Highland Park is in the Public Works portfolio. Please save the date for children's programming in September. There's a lot going on in September. I do want to say that this is the last long week of no school. We're home. I'm sure those can relate that this is the to keep our kids occupied this week. School starts Friday. So it ushers in the fall and a lot of activities. Sustainable Highland Park is no stranger to wonderful community activities. On Saturday, September 9th, from 10 a.m. to noon at the Environmental Education Center at 20 River Road, where there will be drawing naturescapes with local artist Justin Boyd V. Supplies will be provided, all ages encouraged. Registration is preferred but not required, and please email highlandparksustainable@gmail.com. Then on September 24th, 10 a.m. to noon, also at the Environmental Education Center at 20 River Road, make fun and useful items with household cardboard. Reimagine and reuse tissue, cereal boxes, toilet paper, towel rolls, giving them a second life. Turn them into desk organizers, cell phone holders, and small gift boxes. Supplies will be provided, but bring household cardboard if you can, and we all have it. This is a drop-in program, no registration required, and then tag and share with anyone who you think might be interested. This is on Sustainable Highland Park's Facebook page as well. You can find them there as well, and this notice is also on the Borough's Facebook page too. Finally, look for Sustainable Highland Park at Arts in the Park on Sunday, September 10th. The heat, since Councilwoman Canavero is not here tonight, I did just want to mention with the extreme heat, it is late summer, but we are no stranger to extreme weather patterns, particularly later into the seasons. And this week, it's the extreme heat has really taken over, and you need to make sure that you and your neighbors or anyone that you care about is aware of the necessary precautions. You can find information at www.nj211.org/summer-heat. And you can also just go to 211 and you can see the tab for summer heat as well. And just to note that that Borough Hall, the Community Center, and the Reformed Church of Highland Park are all open during normal business hours for cooling centers. And of course, please call the police in an emergency or call their non-emergency number in the event of a non-emergency. And that is my report. Thank you.
Borough Administrator.
I just have one reminder, water and sewer bills did go out kind of during the holiday mix. So I just wanted to make sure everybody takes a look for it either in your email or in your mailbox. If you have any questions about your bill, you can always call 732-819-3788. And they'll answer any questions you might have. But I just wanted to, I know it can slip through the inbox, and I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware they were out and they're due at the end of the month.
Borough Attorney's report.
No report, Madam Mayor.
I just have a few more things that I am going to report on real quickly. And just want to say, if you have noticed that the roads in Highland Park have gotten better, and you're thinking, they look kind of new and it's a pleasure to drive on. Yes, they have improved. It's my pleasure to let you know that it's not your imagination. We have been busy doing a host of road repairs and revamping our roads. We have done over 2,000 stretches of road in the past 3 years, nearly 1/3 of the town. The borough was able to accomplish this work by astute stewardship and funding from 3 different sources that were matched with borough funds to make this happen. One of the funding places is the state of New Jersey Department of Transportation, Middlesex County funding for repayment on Woodbridge Avenue, a county highway, PSC&G funded paving for roads dug up for infrastructure upgrade, and no matching funding was required. They completely paid for what they dug up. The borough is aware that there's still more roads in town that needs to be repaved, and we haven't achieved all our repavement projects as yet. We're continuing to work on these road improvements, so we'll have less bumps as we drive through our beautiful town, and it'll be less bump and less of an eyesore, and you'll have a much more pleasant ride. That's our goal. So the past 3 years has been a record for us for road repayment, and we're very proud of that. And hopefully we won't get any terrible snow to ruin our lovely work that we have put in. Just want to keep you abreast that supermarket is still on our forefront. We are in conversations with the family that own the property. They have selected someone. I'm not at liberty to say still, but they are working through terms of negotiations and that kind of stuff. So all is going well. We have not received any, we have the updates that we received that the conversations is going well and they're working through their terms. So as soon as I'm able to let you know who's coming into town, I will be shouting it from the rafters. The other thing is new business. We're going to welcome a new business into town, and it's going to be right after the street fair on Sunday. And it's called the Barbie Fit Studio. And it's one of my pleasure. One of the fun things I do as mayor is to go to these ribbon cuttings and to support local business and to tell you all about them and to advertise them as much as we can, that the new businesses are coming into town, and ask each and every one of you to stop by and support as much as you can. So if you want to hang around after the street fair at 6 p.m. on Sunday, we're going to be cutting the ribbon from Barbie Fit Studio. It's at 300 Raritan Avenue by South 3rd. I myself have been practicing what I preach, and I'm happy to say that I found my flowers that I'm giving as gifts to folks in town, and I have found candy and a host of other gift ideas locally. So please continue to support our local business and do shop locally. That's how we keep our downtown vibrant, abreast, and viable. Thank you. Now we're going to move into public participation. A total of 21 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker. The item it's limited to items on the agenda. Comments from members of the public attending the meeting in person will be heard first, followed by those who are participating via Zoom. The borough clerk will indicate when 30 minutes have elapsed, and she will say 30 minutes, and at that time you'll have an opportunity to wrap up your statement. I may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant statement if it does not adhere to the 3 minutes provided, or if the statement is absurd, obscene, or irrelevant. Comments from members of the public attending the meeting in person will be heard first, followed by those who are attending via Zoom. If you're interested in speaking, please step up to the microphone, or if you're on Zoom, you can do so by raising your hand. There's a raise hand button, and *9 on your phone keypad, and we will reach out to you. Please begin by telling us your first and last name as well as your address. The borough administrator will announce for those on Zoom who will speak first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Abby Stern Cardinal. I live on Harper Street. A couple of quick things. I wanted to ask about one item that you'll be voting on, which might be relevant to the chief more. I don't know if he's going to want to, but the police vehicles, I see that there are 3 new ones being bought.
I did look at that and it says that they're replacement vehicles. I'm wondering how old vehicles are that need to get replaced, and I mean, it's a big chunk of the budget. I also would ask, I did a little bit of quick research. I'm not an expert here, but there do seem to be hybrid vehicles available for police fleets. I don't know why, if we do need to purchase vehicles, why we're not looking at hybrid. From what I saw, it looked like maybe there's some supply issues, but we really should be moving in that direction if they're even needed in the first place. I have to say, I would really like to hear the justification for that.
And Terry is jumping at the bits. I can answer that question, but I'm gonna turn it over to her.
If you don't mind. I'm
Go
sorry.
right on ahead.
I mean, you anticipated this.
No, I didn't anticipate it tonight, but the availability of hybrid vehicles, especially police rated, which are different than ones that, because they have to be outfitted with the lights and all that other stuff. So we tried really hard, and we actually have had the money allocated for a while and have not been able to find vehicles. We finally found these Malibus. We're replacing probably, I can't swear to you, but I think 10 years old vehicles. Like, we're not recycling every 4 years. You know, we really have a pretty frugal vehicle replenishment line. And I wholeheartedly share, and I know the mayor and I know Councilman George on public safety share the goal of greening this fleet up. But we're at a point where we've got real gas guzzlers with real problems that we're kind of patching together. And we made the decision we had to move forward with the Malibu and the others. We are looking at a hybrid. The other challenge we have, just to frame it out for you, is the availability on state contract. Because there's a lot of procurement challenges if we go out and try to shop door to door for these things. And I won't bore the group with that. So limits within state contracts and other types of contracts also constrain us. Non-police vehicles are a little bit easier to go. And we're hoping, I don't know if it was on tonight, but soon, if not tonight, where our town vehicle that Maria uses is going to be an electric car. So where we can, we absolutely are, but we hit a point where we need these new vehicles.
Okay, yeah, and I'll just add as a note, initially electric or hybrid might cost a little more initially, but it will really save, not only it's good for it being green, but it'll save the town and everyone money. So I think that's really important. So I'm happy to hear that that's.
It's definitely a goal, and we've been really struggling in the last 2 years to try to even find a vehicle that we can use. Police vehicles just have an additional layer of challenge to help them.
And then I don't know if my time's almost up, but I'll just say, I always say thank you for moving forward with the tot lot funds. A lot of people are really looking forward to that. I hope now that the funds, now that there's a contract, it looks like, with a specific vendor, hopefully that can get started soon. Every season that goes by, we lose another cohort of kids who can actually enjoy it. So I know that we'll be hitting winter weather before we know it. If there's any way to make progress before that, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
I also want to add to the fleet, to the vehicle fleet, that I had a meeting with Mayor Joshi, because in Edison, they need a lot more cars than us. And I had a meeting with them to say, hey, how can we partnership and do a shared service? Because you order more cars, you're more likely to receive cars before we do, because our order is much smaller. Let's look at that. They have the same challenge with the supply chain as well. But the conversation is ongoing on how we can partner up and buddy up, I should say, to get maybe a few cars in Highland Park. So we're looking at all avenues, and hybrid is one of the things that we're looking at. But as Terry pointed out to us, it's a challenge.
Mayor, can I just add one thing to that?
Sure. Chief, can you come down, please?
Yeah, sure. So, Abby, the cars that we're getting are going to the detective bureau, not the patrol cars that drive around 24/7. Our detective bureau has received cars that were in patrol years ago. We're replacing Dodge Chargers, which are terrible on gas, but they're 10 years old, and that's what we have. So they'll get cycled down from patrol to detectives. So they're not going to be driving around 24/7 like you see. Most of our fleet is hybrid already. Those Explorers are all hybrid. So the patrol units you see out there, they're there. So if that makes you feel a little bit better. Thanks, Mayor.
Good evening, Josh Krasansky, 141 North 10th Avenue here in Highland Park. I want to thank the borough on behalf of the Middlesex County Jewish Community Council, which is the new name of the Rock. I want to thank, this going through a transition right now, but I want to thank the borough for providing the Sabbath compliant meters for the Sabbath observant public. We appreciate the fact that it's been being installed. The community, people who have had it installed are very happy with the way it was done. And we want to show our appreciation by saying thank you to the mayor and council for making it happen. Also, on another note, there's been another accident this past week on North 10th Avenue and Route 27, which airbags were deployed. People went to the hospital. I know the road diet might be happening in a few years, not, but in the meanwhile, it's still a very dangerous intersection at those streets of 8th, 9th, and 10th. And Marathon Avenue, as cars are speeding, so they're not like low mileage types of accidents. They're high mileage, which deploys the airbags. Is there anything we can do to change things? First of all, North 10th is a very difficult block to proceed on. When you're coming up from North 10th, trying to turn left or right, you got the sun in front of you, you got the cars zooming, you can't even see them because of the grade of the road past 11th. And on the right, they're coming from all sides, you know, like moving, it's impossible. Is there any way to perhaps in the meanwhile turn that into a one-way street so people can turn out from North 10th onto Route 27? It's a little easier at North 9th, but there's also a problem with it's a big bush or a bunch of bushes in the ice cream store's parking lot, which makes looking out right quite difficult. So you have to edge into the street to see it, and all those streets are built at an angle, so you go a little further one way to look in one direction, now you're already inching into the roadway in the other direction. So it's become very, very dangerous. I personally haven't gone up that block to turn right or left since the deaths of 2 people in an accident there in June. It's been 3 months now. And people are very nervous, especially those who are elderly, which one of the people in the accident were this week. If the reflex it's impossible. So I'd like to ask the council, the mayor to look into this with the police chief to see if there's any way we can find some short-term fix until that diet is in to make that intersection safer. Thank you.
I just want to address that in my meeting with DOT and Senator Dykeman and our follow-up conversations, we're looking at what kind of traffic calming devices that we can put in that space in the interim while they're working on the plans for the road diet. It does take some time. I was told that this fall they're going to be putting some calming measures up on the avenue and some more devices. We also are working to see what we can do to calm traffic down on our own in that area. Also, when we had a meeting with the DOT, they are coming out soon, hopefully real soon, to look at those intersections where there's bushes, where the setback is so far back before you inch out, you're inching out into the street. So they're going to be looking at some of the setbacks as well. So I know Terry and I had a conversation last week and we did a follow-up. So we're going to continue to follow up constantly, like a little bit of pestering to see, to keep us on top of the pile. So in other words, to get them to come out and to help us to deal with this very difficult stretch of roads.
3-foot speed bumps would be great, especially when they're coming down at 50 miles an hour.
We can't do that. We cannot do that on a state highway. We don't have that jurisdiction on state or county highway, so we have to work with the Department of Transportation.
Thank you.
Hi, Nora Krieger, 19 North 6th Avenue. I read an article today in the newspaper that got me a little nervous, since another big property that we have in town is Rite Aid. And Rite Aid just went into Chapter 11 because of lawsuits over fake opioid prescriptions. So have you been contacted by anybody? Is anybody looking into make sure that this particular branch will not be closed? I know that it's a very active branch and they make a lot of money there, because I knew someone years ago who worked for law practice that would work for Rite Aid. But anyway, that was very disturbing.
I also read the same article, and the word from Rite Aid corporate, we have not been able to reach out to anyone in the corporate office. But I do want to assure you that this Rite Aid here in Highland Park is very lucrative. They do very well. And when we last had a conversation with them, they weren't planning on going anywhere. So, you know, when these class action lawsuit goes up, I don't know how it's gonna, you know, we just don't know how it will play out, or if it'll have any effect on any of the local stores, but I know our Rite Aid in Highland Park does extremely well.
Good evening, I'm Jessica Henson, Montgomery Street, and I just want to say I commend you, Mayor Foster, for your statements about the striking nurses. That was, as one of the organizers several years tonight, I was of the event that happened last week. Just really appreciate your support of them. And I also just want to say that their fight is our fight too. If it's not proper staffing, then we don't have safe patient care. So I did have a question. I wanted to know, I didn't see it on the agenda and I anticipated to see it. The borough's conditional agreement with the conditional developer, 232 Raritan LLC, Garden Homes, expired on 8/31/2023. And so will that agreement be extended, and if so, when and how long?
Terry, I'm gonna have you answer that.
Sure, it did, we were aware it lapsed, and truthfully, with holidays and traveling, the mayor wanted to have an opportunity to catch up with the developer before we renewed. And so we're arranging that, and the hope is to see if it re-extended. As to the terms, that's something the mayor and council will have to decide what the duration. But I actually discussed this with the attorney, and he's like, it's very common that they get renewed over a period of time. Having a little hiccup isn't a problem. We'll pick it back up as soon as the mayor and council are ready to schedule it.
Now that we're back from vacation, we can have more meetings.
Hi, I'm Sarah Cayley, Riverview, and I'm one of the striking nurses. We were hoping, we submitted a resolution a little bit late, so it didn't make it on the agenda, but I do just want to express the urgency for us. We've been on strike since August 4th, and on the 1st of this month, as of the 1st of this month, we no longer have health insurance, and that's the 1,700 nurses who are out. And the hospital hasn't come to the table to negotiate since the 16th of August. And that meeting was absolutely unproductive. They met for seven hours, and they rejected the union's proposal, and that was it. So they're just kind of, they're not speaking to us. So we are asking, we're asking the community, we're asking elected officials, we've asked Governor Murphy to support us, to stand up for us, as it is in the community's best interest, since this is the biggest hospital that serves this community. And we really just want more nurses. We want them to, and we want enforceable standards on nurse to patient ratios. And we're hoping, we would really like to get back to work as soon as possible, but we need the hospital to be.
Stop trying to bust our union.
Yeah, what he said, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of union busting going on, and they seem to be trying to starve us out. So any support would be appreciated. I brought a copy of the resolution. I can give
Please
that
do.
to you.
Yes.
I can give it to you.
Yes, thank you. I'd asked for a copy to be sent to me electronically, but I never received it. So thank you. Thank you so much. As you heard, my statement, our statement that where we stand, so we'll definitely take a look at it. And if you could be so kind as to email it to me as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next.
My name is Paul Sowers. I live on South 6th Avenue. I don't want to give my exact address so anyone watching knows exactly where to go.
Thank you, Paul.
I wanted to, since Matt brought up the heat, I just wanted to make a public service announcement. A very large march is going to be taking place September 17th, leaving from New Brunswick and train stations all over New Jersey. It's a Sunday morning and it's 10:30 from New Brunswick train station. Join people from all walks of life for the massive climate march ahead of the United Nations Ambition Summit. We will demand that President Biden and all leaders show real climate leadership by rejecting new fossil fuel projects and declaring a climate emergency. And one last piece on this. We recognize the march is planned for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Several factors led the organizations behind the march to choose this date. We did not make this decision lightly. We deeply respect that Jewish communities have different relationships with protest and social action during the high holidays. We honor and affirm that many Jewish communities and organizations will be praying at this time, and we celebrate their observance. If anyone is interested in the march or details, please see me. I have lots of flyers.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor, I just thought I'd report for the record, we have 6 attendees at home and none with hands raised.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna go into ordinance reading, and first reading, or ordinance requiring first reading.
Ordinance 23-2075, capital ordinance providing for improvements to the library roof in the amount of $215,000 has been introduced in writing by the Finance Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so then we go to
Roll call.
roll call.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Council President Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik.
Yes.
Now we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. And we're gonna go from 13A through 13K. Motion to approve,
So moved.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Council President Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik.
Yes.
Appointments. So 14A Crossing Guard, Monique Thomas, Deborah Reddick Smith, Karen Aaron, Thomas Stevens, Christopher Lopez, Charlene Wayside, Lucille Morris, Carol Gordon, Jacqueline Ryan, Catherine C. Cora. Okay. The Arts Commission, Nikki Gonzalez as alternate member. A motion to confirm.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hale,
Yes.
Council President Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilman Pistonik.
I just wanted to say before I cast my vote, thank you, Mayor, for the appointment of Nikki Gonzalez to elevate her from an alternate member of the Arts Commission to a regular member. She is a rock star. She devotes so much time and energy into promoting the arts within the town. Like the brains behind several of the projects they've got ongoing. Not to mention she runs the Gorilla Arts Club for kids in town, which is just a fantastic program that offers all sorts of arts opportunities and events for kids. So I vote yes.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, now it's time for the second public discussion. Total time allotted is 21 minutes, 3 minutes maximum per speaker. The Borough Clerk will monitor the time and indicate when 3 minutes has lapsed. She will give you a warning of 30 seconds remaining. I may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement, or if it does not adhere to the 3 minutes provided, or if the statement is abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Comments from the members of the public, attending the meeting in person will be heard first, followed by those who are participating on Zoom. To speak on Zoom, please raise your hand and press the star button or the *9 button on your key phone, or select your raise hand button on this application, and then press *6 to unmute yourself. Those in public who wish to speak, please step up to the microphone and give me, and let us have your name and address, your name, last name.
I just wanted to ask a few, Jessica Henston again, Montgomery Street, I wanted to ask a few questions related to the payment in lieu of taxes agreement with the Frederick to Walter Avenue, or also known as 31 River Road Urban Renewal LLC. So I know, as all of you, mayor and council, are on the redevelopment entity, so I imagine that you have looked at that pilot agreement with the developer. I was curious why it was given to the developer.
Do I speak to that, or should I have?
And specifically, I'm wondering why it was given to them as designated as an urban renewal property, which is a statute that allows for a entity, a developer, to get a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, on both land and improvements. Usually pilots are only on improvements. So this, I have a question as to why they were given this, and then why they were given a pilot that is very, very favorable to the developers.
Councilmember Hill?
I'm happy to
You can chime in first, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Terry.
Or Terry can go first.
Who wants to go first?
The pilot agreement for 31 River Road is several years old, so you have to forgive us if it's not exactly fresh in our memory. Generally, urban renewal pilots are given to a place, to places where what exists is either in some disrepair or is not up to the status of the community. So that's one of the things that I know that the urban renewal designation allows. In terms of the pilot terms and the specific of those, my memory is that the agreement provided greater tax revenue than the existing tenant, so that when the houses were built, the amount of tax revenue that came and is still coming to the borough actually exceeded the amount of revenue that was, or amount of taxes that was being paid for by the old medical office building. So it was actually the amount of money that came to the borough at the beginning of this was actually greater than the amount that was being paid prior to this.
That actually may not be true, because it was 50,000 prior, and my understanding is that at least when it started, it was 42,000. So I may have those numbers inaccurate, but my understanding was that it wasn't advantageous to us. And then I think
I'm gonna have the borough administrator.
This is not true.
This as well.
I think we need to just, Matt's correct. It was several years ago. I did look at it recently because you'd requested some of the information. I think you have some pretty in-depth questions, which I'd be happy to run through with you in another format or later, given some time to prepare. But no, it is my recollection as well that the taxes paid versus the pilot payment in total would never be less than the taxes that we would have gotten under the prior use. So I don't know where the misunderstanding is, but we can certainly sort it out.
Okay, that would be great. And the only other thing that I would say is I'm a little concerned about that pilot, and knowing that we have the same developer as a conditional developer. Pilot agreements in many cases transfer the responsibility of financial contributions from developers to residents, because their pilot properties are removed from the ratables within a community, while also not making any contributions to our public schools. So this can be offset by the borough promising contributions to the schools, and also by ensuring that the annual service charges collected are used in ways to ensure that tax rates do not go up for residents.
30 seconds.
Okay, that's it. I was just going to ask, can you provide any updates as to the committed kind of contributions to the schools from this pilot agreement?
That's gonna
For,
be
for
done.
track
already.
C, we're not.
Oh, no, from to Walter Avenue.
We were discussing that recently with the Board of Ed, and the governing body did commit to a contribution, and we intend to do that this year.
Oh, great, thank you, thanks.
Anyone on Zoom?
Sorry. There is a hand raised, but
Okay.
in person
No,
gets
no.
first, that's the rule.
Abby Stern Cardinal, Harper Street. I just was thinking about something that was mentioned earlier, and I wanted to give a little bit of feedback about the fireworks later in the summer, closer to Labor Day. I think it was great. I heard wonderful positive feedback. I think Jason, I think you might have said do both. I just want to point out that a lot of people thought it was better to switch, and I don't know financially whether it would make sense to do both. So I would hope that obviously you'll be looking at the budget at some point, but if it's an either or, I heard amazing feedback about the weather being more comfortable, people feeling like it was a really nice way to end the summer. Also feeling like on July 4th weekend, there's a lot of other options to go to for fireworks. I also think fireworks, there's been a lot of discussion lately about air quality and sound for pets and kids. And I'm not saying necessarily to do away with fireworks entirely, but I don't know that I would add a second one versus switching the date. So I would just ask you to really consider that before committing to doing two.
We will be taking a serious look at that. Go ahead,
Mayor, if I
Jason.
may, yeah, no, this is very, very preliminary. And actually, we've already been considering some of the more environmentally friendly alternatives to fireworks. And we don't even know if we would have both of those. That's generally one of the larger expenses associated with these events. So, we're looking at all those options. So appreciate your feedback. And, I think we can probably accommodate two events. That's just like my wish, but yeah, thank you.
Maybe just a town picnic.
I'm Joe Staley, Johnson Street. I'm also one of the striking nurses at Robert Wood Johnson. And I just wanted to see if you allow me to read the proposed resolution.
Go ahead.
All right. As a resolution in support of a fair contract for United Steelworkers Local 4200. Whereas the governing body of Highland Park in Middlesex County, New Jersey, does hereby find as follows. Whereas Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital is the primary care facility and level 1 trauma center serving Highland Park, and whereas Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital is currently involved in a labor dispute with 1,700 nurses represented by United Steelworkers Local 4200. And whereas during the COVID-19 pandemic, Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital nurses assisted with critical and life-saving services and continue to provide care from some of the most complex medical cases in New Jersey. And whereas United Steelworkers Local 4200 contract expired on June 30th, 2023, negotiations to date have not resulted in a contract agreement, and 1,700 nurses have been on an unfair labor practice strike in support of safe staffing since August 4th, 2023. Whereas safe staffing saves lives, the odds of patient death increases for each additional patient a nurse must care for at one time, according to the Journal of American Medical Association. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of Highland Park in Middlesex County, New Jersey, that we urge the president of Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital and United Steelworkers Local 4200 to return to the negotiating table and engage in good faith bargaining aimed at resolving the dispute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, online we have 7 attendees and I see 1 hand raised. I'm going to call on Dan Macharet, and I apologize if I didn't get the last name correct.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Dan Macharet, 201 South 2nd. Just a question for Councilmember Hale. Do you have a personal relationship with the owner or owners of Garden Homes?
I know the owner of the garden homes, yes.
Okay, so my follow-up to that would be, do you think it's proper and ethical to be negotiating on behalf of the borough, including potential pilot agreements with somebody that you have a personal relationship with outside?
I do not see a conflict.
I'm sorry, what was it? You don't see?
I don't see a conflict.
You don't see a conflict with negotiating potential pilot agreements with somebody you have a personal relationship?
So I know
that's pretty shocking.
Through the development process. I know the developer through the development process, and I know the developer's family for quite some time.
I'm sorry, how long have you known the developer's family?
I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how long I've known Mr. Tansman, but quite a while.
The fact that that doesn't raise any ethical concerns for you is shocking and a little off-putting. Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Okay, I don't see any other hands raised now.
Okay. I don't see any more questions from the audience either. Would the council like to go on a 5-minute recess?
No.
Okay. Well, I move to have this meeting adjourned. All in favor?
Motion.
That's second.
Okay. All righty.
Aye.
All in favor? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 19th at 7 p.m. Thank you all for coming, and hopefully I will not be seeing any of the nurses in this room or anywhere around, but in the hospitals doing the job that they are passionate about and that they love. Good luck.
Thank you for your work and with the fair contract.
Yeah, with a fair contract and proper staff.